What's going on? What is going on? It's Gerardo. I've been meaning to do this video for a minute, and here it is. So, historical data is of utmost important. It shows us what happened last year in 2023, and I'm going to show everybody right here, whether you're just curious, whether you're a buyer and actively in the market, maybe a buyer that's on the fence, maybe a seller that's kind of thinking when's the best time to sell, or if you're just, like I said, curious to know what the heck is going on in the Chicagoland market. I collect data monthly and I throw it into a spreadsheet. I love data. I'm very analytical myself. And the numbers do not lie. Some people may not like this information, but it's reality. Reality. And it's my job to present the facts. And a lot of folks, a lot of people love to get misinformed through the national media, through their uncle who is quote unquote a real estate expert but doesn't have a real estate license, maybe sold a home or two. So this is reality right here, and I want to present it. Whether it's good, bad, I present it all, and then you can make your informed decision. So no offense on anything that I said right now. Sometimes that uncle is just watching out for you. It may be a family member, but unless they've been doing this for some time, they're going to be misinformed. And let's jump into it. Anything in green, it's popping. All right. So this is all of 2023 from January to February, and you could see categorizing the months over here. New listings for that particular month, closed sales for that particular month, change in inventory. Okay, so this is going to be very important. All right, inventory equals homes. Okay, average sales for that particular month, average market time for that particular month. And again, when a house gets listed to the point where a house goes under contract, that's what we're measuring. Once it goes under contract, it takes on an average anywhere between 35 to 40 days. But what this is measuring is when it's listed to when it's under contract. And of course, list price to sold in that particular month. Let me explain what that means. Most of you just don't get it, and that's okay. That's why we're here. You list the property at 300,000 and it sells at 290. That's one. You list the property at 300,000 and it lists at 305, and that ratio is in a percentage. All right? And of course, the timestamp of when this data was actually recorded. I have a form, I input the numbers. If you follow me, I do a market report, a graphic, and also a quick reel. But this right here is all of last year. And I often get from sellers, when's the best time to sell? And buyers, when is the best time to buy? So I'm going to jump between a buyer and a seller. And let's start. January, February, March, not too much activity. This is a slow season. To me, as a buyer, I would buy in this slow season simply because look at the average sale price and it sits longer. So the longer a property sits on the market for a buyer, the better opportunity you have to getting a price reduction or closing costs. And it's telling me right here that property has sold for less money. The seller's still getting very close to 100% of their list price. Remember, 300,000 is the list price, but it went down in price. It went 5% down. Okay. Property lasted on the market, and this is again average of Chicagoland. Okay. If you want something specific to where you live in a 1 mile radius, that's something different. We'll have to run those numbers. And as a matter of fact, that's what we do when I have a buyer that wants to purchase a house and make an offer. We run the numbers, we do some comps. So January, February, March, closed new listings were in the 5,000. We had a spike in 7,000, went down in April, but look at May, June, July, August. New listings came in on the most part May, June, July, and August. So sellers, when's the best time to list? It's going to be those months, May, June, July, August. And why? Well, there's going to be more buyers. There's going to be more buyers looking. And why again? Well, let's look at the average sales. You're getting the bulk of the money within that time. And you're getting the bulk of the money in June, July, and August. Sellers, that's when you're going to make the most amount of money. Buyers, on the other hand, and sellers, useful information. This is the lowest point of inventory. So with the lowest point of inventory, prices are going to go up. What goes down, something else will go up. And what goes up? The price. So if you see right here, all the way towards April, with the inventory being low, buyers jump in the market, prices are going to remain very tight to the list price, or they're going to go up. And as you can see, they went up and they remain at 100% between May and June. May, June, July. So new listings again, the bulk is May, June, July, August. September starts to trickle down. October, November, and of course December. People, their minds are on Christmas. I get it. And I don't know if anybody's telling you this, but as a buyer, I would buy January, February, March, possibly into April, September, October, November, December. That's me. That's when I would buy. Why? I'm going to get a better deal. I'm not saying don't buy, within these hot months. All I'm saying is you're going to have a little bit more competition. So if you're a buyer and you're saying, when am I going to get the best deals? Well, the best deals is off season. Kind of think about when you go traveling, when you, somewhere warm, the height of the season, you're going to pay a little bit more. Flights is going to be a lot more. Maybe food's going to be a lot more. But in that off season, hotels might be less, food might be less amount of people too. So use that analogy. Keep it simple. This stuff is not rocket science. It's very easy. Closed sales, again, January, it's the lowest point. February, same thing. March, it picked up. April, it picked up. And then again, May, June, July, August, it picked up. So closed sales pick up around, give or take, March, April, but it gains steam at May, June, July, and August. And you can see again, it trickles down September, October, November. So the height of the season, May, June, July, August. Great for sellers. So sellers, if you're thinking, when should I sell my property and get top dollar? That's going to be your answer right there. Buyers expect to have a lot of competition. Your capacity is going to have to be at 100%, meaning you're going to be pre-approved. You got to have reserves, got to have funds, out-of-pocket expenses, And you're going to have to be ready to pull the trigger and expect competition. If you don't want competition, look at data that is not in the green. If you don't want competition and you want to negotiate one-on-one, you don't buy in May, June, July, and August. You buy in those off seasons. Sellers, if you want top dollar, you list in May, June, July, and August. The data is telling us this. I'm not telling you anything. I'm just interpreting the data. Change in inventory. So the change in inventory, all these minuses means that there isn't enough homes. And again, in January is it's the slowest month, but it's the month where there is the most amount of inventory. We're almost at a 0%, which would be even. It goes to 9, goes to 16, goes to 24, 28, 33. July is the peak of the lowest inventory season, meaning one buyer might be competing for one home. There might be many buyers, many multiple offers. That's why you hear multiple offers. Give us your highest and best, because there's a lot of buyers, but there's very few homes. And if you don't want that competition, where do you look at? You look at January, February, March. April, it starts kicking up there. And even though October, November might seem like a slower season over here, inventory is still low. Let's jump on to average sales. And again, anything in green, sellers, this is where you're going to get the bulk of your money. It starts relatively between April, May, June, July, August. Trickles down in September, October, November, and then finally in December. The market is still strong though. The worst was February at 390. This is again average all of Chicagoland, Chicago and the suburbs. It's a huge territory. And I have to say this again because I get messages. This is not realistic. It's an average of all Chicagoland. If you want a specific area, all you got to do is send me a message and I will bring this to you. The numbers might change in an area and it might change in another area. Keep that in mind. So once again, if you do not want competition, June, July, and August is not where you want to be. You want to be outside of those months. Sometimes you can't avoid this because there might be changes in your life that need you to move. And most people move during the summer months. Most people are in a home in May, June, July because school starts in August. And those kids need to be enrolled and in the school system before that. So let's move on. Average market time. And this is basically if the property sits for more than 40 to 45 days, great advantage to the buyers. That is telling us either one, the property is overpriced for the condition, maybe there's something wrong with the condition. Most of the time, it's going to be that the property is overpriced and it just became stale and it sits and it sits and it sits until you make an offer. And now you're positioning, you're negotiating one-on-one, which is great. That's what you want as a buyer. As a seller, you don't want that. As a seller, the best marketing, now let me say this again, the best marketing for a seller is not going to be TikTok videos of how great your home is. It's not going to be mailers. It's not going to be anything else other than you pricing the property right from the start and pricing it at market level. Anything above market level, and I've seen it, I've done it, and I've sat along with it. Anything priced above the market level, you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're wasting time. Time is going to pass by and it's going to become stale bread, and it's going to be hard to get it at an asking price where you want. Buyers take advantage of homes anything above 45 days. You're going to have the advantage because you're going to be able to get in and lower the price, ask for closing costs. But in May, June, July, it's very tough because look at the outcome. 37 days on the market, 38 days on the market, 36 days on the market, 39 days on the market. Now, I have seen areas that these numbers are relatively 2 to 5 days on the market. That means that there's a lot of competition and homes are flying off the shelves. So, Mr. Seller, where do you want to position your home and how do you want to price it? Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, knowing these numbers, where do you want to buy? Of course, there's changes in lives, and sometimes you have to buy when you have to buy due to maybe circumstances or lease expiration dates. Pro tip, buyers, work backwards. When does your lease end? Find that out. When does your lease end? And then I'll work backwards. It takes my clients an average of about 40 to 60 days to find a property. It takes about 45 days to close. So on your end of lease date, work backwards with those numbers. 45 days to close, about 60 days to find the property. You could get pre-approved instantly, but if you don't have all your documents together, if you didn't file your taxes, you're not doing anything good for yourself. You're just prolonging. Buying a home starts at least 6 months before you even want to go and get pre-approved. So average market time, I know I went off topic, winter, they sit a little bit longer, great opportunity for buyers. Sellers, this is your opportunity right here. You're still good into these winter months, fall months, because you're still getting top dollar for it. But if a seller tells me when's the best time to sell, it's going to be these months. List to sold price ratio, and again, this market time gives us the story over here because the longer it sits, the less it sells for. Longer it sits, less it sells for. Longer it sits, less it sells for. Now we're getting a little bit more into the April, May, and June, and you could see 37 days, you're getting 100% of your price. So there's no haggling. You're getting multiple offers. Buyers, when you're in multiple offer situation, you're going to have to either give more or take less. Take less meaning forgoing your home inspection, appraisal gaps, and not and taking it as is, higher amount of earnest money. So you're giving more or taking away those contingencies. And sellers, The height of the market for you is going to be in those green months. Strong indicators where you get your list price. So there you have it. If you have any questions on this, let me know. Looking at historical data is great. It gives you a picture of where the market is heading. Is this 100% accurate? And can this be interpreted into today's market? Yes, it can. I do have January through March, so I do have that data. And all of this is published in the rears. So in April, I'm going to get it in May, and so on. In June, I'm going to get May's, and July's, I'm going to get June, and so on. So use this information. If anybody needs this and wants me to actually interpret the data for a community that you want to buy, let me know. If you want to interpret this data into sellers and you want to sell and you're in a particular location, not just Chicagoland, let me know. It'll be surprising that majority of these numbers are going to also reflect. The only thing might change is the purchase price, depending on where you're living and where you want to buy. But everything else relatively is going to stay the same. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I hope this info was taken, and I hope I did not offend anyone. If you bought at the height of the season, you're in your house already. That's the most important thing. If you sold in the low season, you didn't know this, I'm sorry. If nobody went through this data with you, at least you have it now. But if sellers, if you need any information on a particular location or where you live, let me know. I'd be gladly to help out. Take care. Happy house hunting. Happy selling. And we'll see you soon. Take care.